Hi everyone, welcome back to Gleason's Garage. Today, oh my goodness, I'm looking around. There's a lot to do because I have so many parts, I can barely move around in the shop. Actually, I'm genuinely not kidding. I can't move around in the shop anywhere. Thank you all so much for joining me. I greatly appreciate it. To those of you who are new to the channel and just subscribed, thank you so much for doing so. If you can't tell already, it's freezing in here, and I apologize for that. However, you don't have to work in it, but I do. So enjoy the show as I freeze to death. Either way, if you are new to the channel and you haven't subscribed and you're coming along for this journey right here where I try to rebuild my father's truck, please consider subscribing. It helps me a ton, and anything you can do for free helps. Subscribing, sharing on social media with your friends or even people you don't know. Just anything you can do for free. It helps so much to get the thing rolling here. And if I can get more ad revenue from Google, that helps a lot into going back into this truck and, well, anything else that I might work on in the future. To really help out, head on over to GleasonBrosRacing.com. That is my channel's merch store. It's also the merch store for the race team. And I have shirts for sale, hats, koozies, tumblers, stickers, you name it. We got it on there. It's really affordably priced. I'm not running a sale. I'm not doing anything for Christmas or anything like that. I know that sounds kind of chintzy, but when you look at the price of all the stuff that I have on there, it's so much cheaper than anywhere else online that if I ran a sale, I wouldn't make money anymore. I'd make nothing. I'd be literally making nothing. So I just try to keep it cheap for everybody so that anybody can afford one if they want one. And the best part is it's really good stuff too. So merch pitch aside, we got to get to work because I'm stepping on everything that I own and I have nowhere to work. And I have to get a rear end out from this truck, and I can't do that because it's so big and the area that I have is so small that I literally have to, I'll show you in a minute, but I got parts. I also got propane, so hopefully we won't freeze to death. I got a brake mat. Well, what is it in here? Anyway, I don't even know. Is this just the brakes? Wow, packing material. Yeah. Universal firewall mount, vacuum boosted master cylinder and brake pedal setup. Now with these trucks, they have everything on the floor, but it goes like underneath the truck. Like it goes and you push the pedal down and it has a lever and it pushes underneath the floor. So you can't access anything like a master cylinder, all that stuff. So what I'm going to do is take all the pedals completely out of the truck. Just basically throw them away. I'm going to put a new gas pedal in, new brake pedal. Since it's going to be an automatic, just, I don't know, I'll reach into the pile of license plates and zip screw one into the floor, I guess. I don't know. But that's the plan for that. Those are the parts that I got sitting over here. I have to continue on with the rear end parts and all the rear suspension that needs to go in. That's on the agenda today. Plus, I still have to go out and get the steering figured out, which is in this box over here, or at least it was. I think I moved it over to this box, but this box has all the brake parts, steering stuff, all the rest of the stuff, and the transmission rebuild kit. That's got to go in. Plus, I have this boat anchor of an engine that I don't need anymore, which I don't think can offer me any more parts except for those bolts that are going to put the transmission on to the back of the other engine that I have sitting over here, which I also don't have parts for quite yet. They should be in a couple days. I'm getting a new oil pan and a dipstick for this one, and then that will be good to go once I change the oil and the engine mounts on it. Okay, brake. We have to continue on with the process of getting the rear end in here, but we have to get the old one out. That's going to require a little bit of cutting, and I don't want to, but I'm going to have to. But I will just cut apart stuff that you can replace. You know, if somebody needs the rear axle out of this thing and the leaf springs, I'm just going to cut the U-bolts out of it. At least that's an easy fix. You know, if somebody needs to replace those in order to use it, they can do that. So that's not a huge deal. That should put it into about 3 different pieces, and then I got to clean up more just so I can drag the thing out of the way. I wish I had a place to put that engine, but right now, I don't. And it snowed like 4 inches outside. It's still 25 degrees. It's still the coldest pre-winter I've ever noticed up here in New England, probably since I moved into this place 12 years ago or so. So, all right, enough blabbering. We got to get to work on this thing because it ain't going to get done. And this is the only day off I have this week, so we got to get something done. We got to make something happen.
Well, you can see I have to stand right at the corner of the room in order to get this thing in shot, but we got it out, and I just got to do a little bit of tidying up. I got to hop under there at some point and at least start knocking rivets out of it. I don't know if they're all going to come out, if they're really going to be a pain or not, but I really wish I had one of the little pinpoint things for the little air hammer up here. I think I only have like a chisel bit. That would really kind of stink. But in the meantime, after I cleaned up all the dirt that fell out of this thing. This is the dirtiest thing in the world for having sat in a garage for 20 years. I don't know where all this dirt's coming from, but like I said, in the meantime, we got even more parts. Leaf springs down here, but I got even more parts. I got that box there. I got this one here. This one's the drum brake kit for the Ford 9-inch rear that we're going to put in. That, I don't know. Gas pedal? I don't know. I'm going to have to open it up and check it out at least. Even more crap to get rid of. At least it's not that damn foam packing peanuts. Okay. Oh, okay. It's throttle. A throttle cable by the looks of it. Yep. Hopefully that works. This I'm going to need for the shifter for sure because I got to put an aftermarket shifter and cable in it. And right now it's got that little, I can't even tell you how it looks. It's got that little end on it right there. It looks like a T-bar would go into it and turn it that way off of some kind of Z-bar bracket or something like that. But I got a cable for the shifter. Hopefully it works. And I got the bracket that bolts onto the transmission, and I got the new bracket for the shifter to bolt to, which is going to help because now that I have not only a shifter, which I don't even think I showed you guys this thing. So I managed to unearth the parts bin, which I don't think is actually watertight, which it should be, but I don't think it is because I found like water at the bottom of it. Actually, no, I found evidence of water at the bottom of it. By the way, I found my shifter in there, but I got a bunch of other stuff. Like, I got a set of like old LT1 manifolds. Those might fit pretty well in this truck. If not, I might have to get some block huggers or something. But I did find the shifter. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to set like such a huge fire. Maybe if I set this place on fire. No, I don't think I have that kind of insurance on it. So I found my shifter, okay? I don't know what it is. And it's something my uncle gave me. It's an old B&M, which is kind of cool. This is, you know, some old stuff. I don't know when it came from, probably the 70s. Not too sure. I'm on the fence as to what this thing actually is, though. I'm really hoping that I can use this on a Turbo 350. The reason I have some kind of suspicion about what this is because of the gates in it. So, it's just a regular, I don't know what the hell kind of B&M shifter it is. You got your shifter linkage hookup right here. You got this handle here. You can just pull up and, you know, there you go. I think that's, nope, that's probably park right there. Okay, so then you can go at least pull the handle up and you can yank it like all the way back if you want, right?
I think that's all the way back. Can't tell, but then you can go like this and just kind of shift gears, but I only get 2 of them. So that's kind of worrisome. So there's your park. I don't know what neutral would be. I don't know where reverse is. I don't know where anything is. So I'm basically just going to spend a whole bunch of time just searching for a part number. I don't know if I could even find an old part number on this thing, but I'm going to try. And if I can get a little bit more info on whatever this thing is, then maybe we can use it. If not, there goes more money. I used Google Lens on my phone to maybe get an idea of what this thing could be, and it came up with a B&M Mega Shifter. And apparently that's like one of their most universal, and I'm putting this all in air quotes because I don't know a damn thing about any of this stuff, shifters that they offer. Now, I counted, and I'm ultra dumb, so you just got to remember that. I'm not teaching anybody anything here. I'm just trying to learn in front of the public. I counted the teeth on this spring mechanism so that you can feel it, go into gear or whatever its use is. And I counted like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different ones. So I'm like, So which one's like drive? Which one's first, second, reverse, neutral? So is this like park, neutral, reverse, fourth, third, second, first? I don't know. There's so many of them. So somebody let me know in the comments, I guess, but I'll figure it out. I'm probably going to try using it anyway, and if it doesn't work, I'll just buy another one. But I'd really prefer using something I already have as opposed to trying to buy something else, especially if it works. I'm not really that keen on spending money if I already have something. Well, now that I'm inundated with parts and things to do with it, I have to get underneath and start cleaning up. I got to get that rear end in. I can actually go and put all the bracketry on, and I can put the leaf springs in, and I can do all the mechanical work, because then when I go to put the rear end in, all I have to do is just put the little brackets or the saddle or whatever you want to call them, throw the rear end in, lift it up, put the brackets in, and then just kind of plumb the rear, or at least kind of set it up and measure and maybe tack them in. But like, other than that, I can just put everything else in. That way, at least I'll have a work area on the back of the truck. So if I need a spot to rebuild the transmission, I can throw a piece of cardboard down on that tailgate and just kind of rebuild it in the shop. That was a battle and a half, but you know what? It did work out pretty well. All the hangers are put in finally. The rivets are out. I didn't film me putting these in because, boy, that took a long time. And I am absolutely beat because of how many times I had to get up and down off of the floor. Positive note, I don't think we have any missing hardware, so I'm not going to bother Speedway Motors about that. Now, I'm looking through the instructions, and at this point, all I really got to do is drag those leaf springs over here, sling them up underneath, get them bolted up front, swing them up, get the shackles put in over here, and then we'll be ready to put the rear axle housing in. However, the rear axle that I'm going to use is not ready. I have to cut the lower mounts off of it because it is set up currently for a metric chassis car, like a 4-link triangulated type of deal. And I am only going to get as much off of it as I need. I'm not sure if I'm going to need to cut the top mounts out because of how low the truck's going to sit. That's kind of a consideration I've been taking in. I was thinking about just hacking them off, but not really like cleaning it up at all. But I am going to have to cut the lower mounts off of it and clean those up pretty well. I'm going to make a, I don't know where I'm going to work on this thing. I still got to get this axle out of here because, boy, I need a walkway here, and I'm tired of stepping over this thing, but it's a truck axle, man. That thing's heavy. How am I going to pick that thing up myself unless I disassemble it? I mean, that's an idea, but do I really want to go through with that? I mean, I don't even think I can get the axles out because it'd hit this thing. Oh, anyway. I need one of them I-beams with a chain and a dolly. I can just winch things up from the ground and run them out of my shop. But even that's too big for my shop. So I think that'll be the plan for tomorrow. My kid's home from school. He's hungry. I'm going to go make him something. And not subject him to 25-degree weather yet. I know it's good for character, but that sucks. Like, I'm not happy either. So I'm going to go do that. And I'm going to get a plan in action for tomorrow. Maybe I can get somebody up here to help me haul this rear axle housing out of here, because that thing is massive. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Back again today, and I'm going to make a Herculean effort to try to not only get this thing out of here, but get the new one in here, dressed up, and even maybe hung in the truck. And I don't have a lot of time to do that because work is so busy. I don't have the time off that I typically have during the year. So these videos are going to drag a little bit on the whole action front. And I apologize for that if you're new here. Really, I do. It's just kind of a timing thing. That's the issue. But I'm going to try to get this rear end moved, like I said. If I could get the other one in here and at least cleaned off enough that I can plop it in there and get an eyeball on it, we don't need to have it finished today, because I still don't have the center section for it or the bearings for the axles. I'm still waiting on quick performance, but they're nice guys, so I can't really be too mad. I'm just going to do what I can. Just going to keep pushing forward and doing what I can. By the way, more parts. I literally had a burning party, which is why my face is all red, because I have so much cardboard. It's like, my recycling bin ain't gonna handle this, so I had a bonfire with it instead. So I got more room for parts, but barely. I can barely walk around as it is. So let's get this thing at least put together to the point where we can start moving on to other stuff for now. Phew. That was a work. I sure brought the damn camera with me. I was fighting for my life out there next to the junk shed that I have because it's all snow and I wore basketball running shoes with no tread on them, and now I got oil on it, so that's pretty great. Got it in here. Did you ever have one of those moments where you come to a realization that you've accidentally spent money? That's pretty much what happened here. There's a brand new mount there. There's a brand new mount there. Never used it. So I spent the money on those, and I jig fabricated those on. Now I'm cutting them right back off again. So I might as well just chuck those and take the money out of my wallet and set it on fire. So there's that, and I'll probably nip the tops off but not dress it up at all, because who cares? This thing's been through a few different iterations by the looks of it. It looks like it was a third link type of setup. Either way, it's going to be a truck rear now. And if my memory is correct, it should be right in the window that we need for the width on this thing. So let's start stripping it. Wow. That's pretty awesome. I've never done that before, but with how much experience I have just doing regular things and watching enough YouTube, that was without even thought. I didn't even think about it. The only thing I'm thinking about is how close is that bump stop going to get? Allegedly, this suspension kit drops the truck 4 inches. And we're still going to have the weight of the vehicle when we drop it on there, so that leaf is going to bend a little bit. And I hope it drops it enough. I do want this thing lower, but that was pretty well done. Now, the rear end's not in there straight at all. It isn't welded at all. These U-bolts that they gave me were supposed to be for 3-inch axle tubes. They absolutely were close, yeah, but I had to take this clamp here and like clamp the ends together at the bottom in order to get the plate to fit, because it was off by a little bit. It didn't quite hug that 3-inch axle tube. Plus, I accidentally forgot and left the spring pads on it, and I had to cut those off because they were in the way. So this thing needs to come this way and have the pinion angle set before I can weld the seats in, but that's pretty awesome. Still waiting on axle parts, but, you know, we can at least get this thing set in place. And as my garage is completely destroyed, not sure if you can see all the shavings pretty much everywhere, I'm going to get out of here because it is a dusty, smoky, disgusting mess. And I'm feeling a little bit funny because I haven't really eaten all day. Not that I clearly need to, but you got to kind of wean yourself off food or else you'll pass out, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, with the rear end kind of in place and it just kind of needing a little bit of adjustment, I'm thinking I'm going to save that for tomorrow. Plus, when we get that in and moved around to at least where we have it centered up and just kind of tacked in, I guess, at this point, why don't we move on to the motor? You know, the thing that's been in the way of me grinding all day just has the oil pan just kind of rested onto it, so that's totally safe. No. I think we'll put the pan on it and try to get the dipstick tube in it, get the engine at least bolted up. I'd like to have this thing done so that I can move it out of the way. We want as much stuff done as possible so that we can start moving forward. I mean, we are moving forward, but I want to get moving a little bit quicker. So, either way, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, back the next day. I'm kind of tired of working on the rear end, and I'm still waiting on parts and stuff, but I'm going to kind of switch focus and get the motor all kind of buttoned up. I want to put the mounts on the side, and I'd really like to put the pan on it so I can put it the right way up again and stop it from draining oil all over my floor. Plus, the floor is absolutely blown out from working. I mean, come on. This place is a horror show. You know, you'd be surprised at what I can actually get done when I can't move around here, but I don't think you guys really give a dang about me cleaning my garage. So let's get to work on this thing. Might need to warm it up a little bit in here to spray paint it, because the oil pan that I got is actually like a raw oil pan. So there's no paint, no nothing, because it was cheaper. So maybe I'll go fire up the heater, put a spray paint can next to it, and grab the heat gun after we get this thing bolted up, and maybe after I find all the bolts that I dropped last night. She's all dressed up. I got all the fish eyes in the paint because it's freezing in here and I didn't do anything to warm it up. And the dipstick from Speedway Motors fit perfectly, by the way. So hopefully it actually fits the frame rails. I had to find a bolt to hold it in, and it looked great. So hey, I'll just use it, whatever. It looks fine. The pickup in the thing is about the same size as what it would be in there anyway, so I just left it. I can't find my other pan anyway. I think I put it over there, but I just spent the last, oh goodness, about 2 hours cleaning up my mess because, well, you can see this giant stain on the floor. I didn't get all the oil out of it. And then I left the damn plug open and all of it went into this distributor, all in the cap, all everywhere. And I said, fine. So I soaked it in carb cleaner and blew it out and cleaned it. And it's 2050 and it's like 30 degrees in here and it's frozen and it doesn't move and it's just a complete nightmare. But that being said, I even put the motor mounts on the thing. So now this engine is actually kind of ready to go in if we need to, except for I still got to push out the pilot bushing. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Next on the agenda is going to be at least getting the rear end kind of adjusted in the truck. I want to make sure I get the pinion angle set properly, which is not going to be too bad. I mean, I'm not going to have the gear in it. I really wish I had my gears. I know that's going to take a little bit, but I don't want to wait that long. So we'll get that thing kind of adjusted, but I'm going to wait until tomorrow because, you know, if you're a racing fan, today was kind of a rough day. So I think, and if you're a racing fan, I'm not going to go into a huge long diatribe here, but you know, I'm going to go spend time with my family tonight and just kind of be glad that I even have one in the first place. And I'll save this for tomorrow.
All right, today's an important day. I bought some goodies. I bought a pan, which I kind of need for this, and I'm using it on the back of the truck because it's the only shelf I have that's available. Bought some pig mats, which are really expensive. That was like $35 for a roll of pig mats. But you'll see. We'll use that definitely because it is transmission rebuild day if the lights stay on in my shop because it's been windy and raining. It's been lovely. It's been like 50 degrees or 60, but it's still, the lights are flickering. It's really windy. I'm really hoping we don't lose power, but I have to grab this transmission and get to rebuilding it because, well, the engine's mostly dressed up. It's pretty much ready to get taken off the stand and bolted up to it as long as I can get that pilot bushing out. And transmission just needs to be rebuilt. The rear end's kind of laid in the truck. It's not quite perfect yet, and I took the day off of work just to kind of regroup during the Christmas season, and I figured today's the best day to do this. So let's get a workspace created, and let's get that transmission hauled over here, see if we can break it down and put it together again. This might take a while. Well, I'm learning and figuring stuff out slowly. Just kind of taking it apart and remembering, and I'm marking where all the check balls go and stuff. And I get to the accumulator, pull the cover off it. That's what greeted me. A broken spring. That's definitely broken. How's the accumulator even look? I haven't even done this. You're actually going along with me as I discover what's wrong here. Alright, well, the accumulator's beat to hell, but it looks like it's still intact. You know, these pig mats are expensive, but boy, do they work. Yeah, you know, I think I'll put that on order and just keep plowing ahead because, wow. Yeah, that's real bad. All right, I'll get a new piston and a new spring. How's the bore look? Ooh. Oh boy. That might have just killed us, guys. Let me take a look here real quick, see if we can even salvage this thing, and see if I can find some way out.
So I've decided to just keep pushing forward. I noticed that the accumulator, it's okay to a certain point. And if I redo the spring, if I put another one in it, it'll probably keep it past the point of damage. And hopefully that'll be all right. Otherwise, I pulled the front clutches out. The band looks really just fine. I pulled these clutches out right at the front. They look perfect. I mean, you can still see numbers on these things. So they don't even look that bad. But the deeper I got, the worse it gets. All right, so I get to the drums, right? And here's your forward drums and stuff. And they don't even look that bad. They're kind of, discolored, but that's the fluid. And I'll pull that one apart later. But I get all the way to the back where you got to start pulling, the lock rings off and everything. And I get to these rear clutches. And they are probably the worst thing I've ever... I think that's the least of my problems. That's a clutch disc. This one right here. There's nothing. There's a friction plate behind it. Every single clutch disc is metal. Except for the back one. Back one looks alright. I don't know what happened to this transmission, but everything looked good. Then you get to the back and we found the problem. So I knew there were issues with it. I'm just going to keep cleaning it out, digging into it. I got more clutches. I got to go dig some transmission fluid up and start soaking those so I can start tossing this thing together. But I'm going to have a long time. It's going to be a long time for me to clean this whole thing out, wipe it down, hose it out with brake clean, and then start putting her back together again. So those clutches will have a little bit to seat and get a little bit of fluid on them before I start slapping her back together. I wish I was exaggerating, but the voice I have is because my back hurts so much that I can't breathe. So there's that. I'm still trying to put this thing together. Luckily, I found a way to stand it up because there's a gap in the bed, and I just stood it up to reassemble it. That was a pain in itself. But so was trying to find all the pieces and parts and how they went back together. I mean, I've done automatic transmissions before, but good grief. It's not the same as what I'm used to. But, it's all pretty intuitive. It's pretty close. They're all relatively similar. There's some differences and all, but like a Dodge, you can just kind of remove the whole valve body without ever taking it apart, so the check balls never come out of it. This thing, you just got to memorize where the check balls go. And I mean, there's 4 of them. There's like one spot here and like a spot here and a couple more that I'd have to tip it over. Oh, like here. Just, there's only 4 spots, so it's not too hard to do. But I'm not done. I gotta keep clearly. Duh. That's the biggest duh I could tell you. I was in the midst of rebuilding and putting all the seals on the pump. And I gotta get the rest of the valve body over to the parts washer, clean that up. But it was just a real fight, and I actually hurt. I started at 11 this morning. Actually, it was like 10:30, and it's 6:30 in the evening now, and I really hurt. I was really hoping that this would have been a one-day project because, my goodness, this was a real fight. But you're going to run into that sort of thing if you do this type of stuff, and I would rather learn than pay. I'd rather be in pain than spend money. I don't know. I really tried to get this done today, but I've reached my limit, and I think I'm going to bail out, and I think I'm going to go grab a bite to eat and sit down in my office chair and probably just fall asleep because I hurt. So I'll catch you guys maybe tomorrow. All right, guys, the last day of this week that I have to work on this, I have to try to get this damn thing done. It took me about 8 hours yesterday when I took the day off of work just to come and do this. And it is still not looking great. I mean, it's not bad either. I mean,
A lot of this stuff can basically just be thrown out like this. I don't know what that valve is, but they gave me a new one. The rest of this stuff can all go into my parts washer, like the valve bodies and all that stuff, and just get it cleaned up and slap it back together. And I'm in the process of just kind of putting seals on everything. Like, I just put all the new metal seals on the pump. I have to put the ring around that side. We've got to gasket it, and when we put it in, I've got to put all new stuff in here. It's just whatever has a gasket or a seal is getting a new one. I just have to find them and then put the thing back together. Hopefully, it won't take me as long as it did yesterday. But yesterday was a learning experience. To those of you who may be new to the channel, and like I said, there's a lot of you, and I appreciate every single one of you. This is a process. Like, learning how to rebuild transmissions is not easy. And it is a very, very involved, I don't know about precise, but you got to put it back together the right way. If this was a Saginaw transmission, like what I got on the shelf over here, and I'm going to be picking up a whole bunch of parts for them soon, hopefully, it's not that difficult, and you don't even really need special tools or a press or anything to do it. It's just kind of doing it right. This is the same thing. I did not know how to work on a Turbo 350 transmission. I've never opened one up in my life. So basically, I went into this with no instruction manual. I just kind of was like, okay, I've opened up Dodge transmissions before. How different can it be? And I figured out there's some differences, and I figured out a lot of it is kind of intuitive as well. So it's a learning process. And in doing so, I'd rather take 8 hours of my life to learn to do something than to spend $3,000 on having somebody else just rebuild the transmission for me when I could probably have the same results. I mean, I've done it before. So we're going to work on getting this thing back together, and I really hope to get it done by the end of this video, because having something be half finished for you guys is really not cool. And I'm going to get back to work on this, though, and try to at least deliver you guys a fresh transmission by the end of this. Okay. I wish I could accurately convey to all of you how long this actually took. A professional, yeah, they'd have it done, snap, snap, done, because they're familiar with it. They do them every day. Me, I'm definitely not a professional, as we've made very clear on this channel. And I learn as I go along. I think we've mentioned that a few times, but at the same time, I wish I could offer you guys a little bit better content than what this is. And I wish I could give you more progress than what we've been having, because, man, as much as you guys, I like to watch YouTube videos about, you know, automotive related stuff, and I like to see builds happen over one video or two videos, and You know, you see a whole bunch of progress, but that's because you're watching professional YouTubers. People like, well, insert your favorite one. We got like Junkyard Digs, you got Cletus McFarland, you got Vice Grip Garage. Like I said, there's a bunch of them. Like, I'm thinking of people with over 1 million subscribers, but like, they can actually like reach out to people and be like, hey, I need this, hey, I need that, you know, and they can make a list of parts that they're going to need, and they can just get them all fresh and brand new or repurposed and, you know, figure stuff out. But like little guys like you or me, unfortunately, the projects are going to take a little longer, and I apologize for that. I just wish I had the resources and the time to get this thing done quicker than this. However, that being said, it's not really been all a planning issue. We've been running with a rubber band strapped to our back. You know, this is looking really good when we got the truck here, and then we started, you know, finding bad stuff. Like, second episode, I said, all right, let's check and make sure the engine and transmission are okay. And what did we do? We tore the engine and transmission apart, and they're both junk. So that stuck us behind really bad. And then we got stuck with parts, and I'm still waiting on rear end parts, and I'm still waiting on other things. And again, that's just down to us being kind of regular Joes and having low resources. I got a day job. All of you have day jobs. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you who come along on this ride for me. And I know that since I won't have the speed at which this thing will be done like other people who are much more professional, I'm probably going to lose a bunch of followers because of it. And I don't blame you. Like I said, that's what I look for in videos. If it's a long, drawn-out affair, you have a hard time keeping people around, but this one kind of matters. So I really want you guys to hang out and to just kind of share. Subscribe if you haven't already. It helps me so much. Because, you know, a few $100 from Google every couple months, I put it right back into what I'm working on, and it helps. It really does. I was doing this for free forever. Now I'm barely getting some pennies coming in, and that's better than nothing. And it's all thanks to you guys. And I really wish we could get this done, but golly, it's taken forever. I know it's only been a few weeks, but like, I can't think that it's going badly. It's not going badly. It's actually going okay. But this is what, like I said, I pride myself on honesty, and this is what the normal working guy who sits in his shop and doesn't have money is going to do. You're going to learn. You're going to do things so that you figure it out on your own, and it saves you money if you do that, and that's what this channel is all about. Do it yourself. Make your dreams happen no matter what resources you got, you know? So if you like what you see, please tell your friends. Please tell your family. Please support by subscribing. I mentioned that before. But also go to GleasonBrosRacing.com. The little link here at the bottom of the screen. Go to the merch store tab. Click on that. You can buy t-shirts that support not only the race team, but the YouTube channel as well, and builds like this. I got t-shirts, I got hats, I got stickers. They have been fixed, by the way. I have fixed the stickers. They're great. I have new polo shirts. I've got tumblers, koozies, you name it. We got some interesting stuff. We got novelty items for the YouTube channel. I got race team shirts. I got all sorts of stuff, and it's affordably priced for everybody. It's the Christmas season. I just wanted to send a special message out to all of you. Have a Merry, Merry Christmas this week. Please stay safe. Please hug your family. Please call them if you haven't spoken to them in a while. Do that for me. I'll be back next week, and we'll figure out what we're going to do next, because we still got steering and brakes, and I really hope we can get this rear end part so that we can get this thing done quickly. So thank you guys for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Apologies for talking so much, but until next time.